Hey everybody, welcome to Hills and Gills. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Chuck. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. Our channel's growing every day, and I appreciate everybody that tunes in to our little channel here. We're fishermen just like you all, and we love bringing some of our favorite patterns in our jigs, whether it's from Bream to big bass and muskie, stripers, and so on. Today, we are tying one of my favorite shad colors, and that is the sexy shad. Now, you know, crankbaits, jerkbaits, there's a lot of different types of sexy shad patterns out there, but I absolutely love it in a nice big bucktail like it's right here. And this is not that hard to tie. It's pretty simple. It's great for stripers and big largemouths as well. And if you've not seen the video on the gizzard shad that I tied up, it's going to be right down in the description as well. We dropped that just a day or so ago, so I hope you check it out as well. But today, let's tie the sexy shad bucktail. Okay, we're getting ready to tie up the sexy shad her jig right here. And as always, we're going to go over everything that we use when we're doing this, right down to coloring of the jig head. This is a half ounce jig head that we're going to be tying today. And I started out with 2 coats of LA Colors white. And if you get it with a sticker, it's got the hardeners. You can call it a primer, a base coat. But I always start all my jig heads out with 1 or 2 coats of the white. Then I went with a coat of the gel right here. This is ice lemonade. You can see the flakiness. I gave it a coat of that as well. It don't matter if it's got the gel type over the top with the hardener. What we do to it at the end, it's going to be perfectly fine using this. And then I added a top coat right up here on top of the head. This is called Zing in the LA Colors. And then I went back right on the bottom of it down here and added a white coat again. And then when I once got all this dried up, got the eyes put on, I picked up at Amazon, used Loctite super glue on that. I used some UV resin. This is the hard type, it won't yellow. I took a small paintbrush, put a drop on, painted it all over, hit it with a UV light, and this bad boy was ready to be tied. So now we're getting ready to go ahead and get our thread laid down here. We're going to be using a chartreuse today. And no, I am not going to be removing the collar on this tie right here today. So I like going down till I hear the click of it hitting the tip of that hook. Then I back up several turns. We'll just get rid of this tag here. And we're going to be using some hackle feathers today as kickers off for a tail. Now from the bend of the hook where the bend starts, I like them to go back about 1.5 inches or 2 inches off the back. And we will just measure him right up here. That's pretty much the length that we're looking for there. So we'll just have to remove a little bit of the stem up here. But first, we're just going to strip a lot of this off right here, exposing that stem with these. Just remove all the feathers off, just like so. And then we'll get us one more measurement here. It's looking pretty good. So I'll just have to cut a little bit of this stem off. And I like for the stem to run pretty much up right behind the collar. And the reason being, that just gives it a little extra support up through where we are tying for like bass. This would be good for like a striper. So I'll lay it right down on the side. And I'll catch him and give him a couple of turns right here. Making sure that he's laying the way that I want him. And then I'll just go ahead and lock this one in right here. Bring my thread back down. And then we'll get us another hackle feather. And I will strip feathers off him. Get him measured up here. Okay. Cut just a little bit of that stem off. And having nerve damage in my hands, it can be a little problem sometimes, but that is perfectly fine. So We're going to go ahead and get this right against the shank of that hook. I'm going to give him a couple wraps right here just to see where I'm at on my feathers here. That looks pretty good right there coming off the back. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lock these down here. Just like so. Looks pretty good. Now we're going to work our way right up to the back of the jig head here. Adding some wraps. Now the first thing we're going to add the belly hair. So that's going to be white. We're going to be adding bucktail to this tie right here. So I'll go ahead, find my scissors, and cut a piece off. There we go. And we can add more to it if we need to. That looks pretty good. I want it just to come back, just leaving about a quarter of that feather sticking out on the jig right back there. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this up a little bit, smoothing it up. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to add just a little bit more to this. Just a little bit more white. Just a pinch or so. And when you're making these bodies, you know, and there went a feather flying, it's good to, you know, make it whatever size that you're looking. If you want it, you know, just a little bit thicker white into it, you know, that's left up to the individual. I like a little bit more white, a belly white, than like the blues and the chartreuses that I'm going to be putting in when I'm doing this tie right here. So I'm just going to lay this right up here. Give him a few wraps here. Take a look at him. That looks pretty good right there. And then we're just going to go ahead, and any loose hair that's in here, I'll just feather that out when we once get done with the tie right here. So we're going to turn the jig over here. Now the next color that we're going to be adding on this, we're going to be going with a chartreuse. We're going to put this one little chartreuse strip right down this here. So again, I'm going to pinch off, find some little bit longer chartreuse hair here, about like a pencil eraser or so on a number 2 pencil. That looks pretty good. Remove some of that loose stuff. That looks pretty good. And then we're just going to go ahead and give this a few, that's a little bit loose right there. We got some, that's a little bit thick. I'm going to back off a little bit of this, pull some of this out, get rid of a little bit of this because that was a little bit too thick. We don't need that much chartreuse in this tie. And we're going to trim this up a little more, flatten it up. Just like so. And we're going to go ahead and give him a couple of wraps. And we're going to see where we're at with him right here. That's looking pretty good. A few more tight wraps, make sure he's locked in. There we go. And then the last color that we're using on this tie right here is we're going to be going with some blue right here. Again, we don't need a lot of it. I'm just going to get a small pinch of it, just like so. I got stuff laying everywhere today, and it's getting in my way. I should have cleaned some up before I started doing this video here. I cut just a little bit too much blue, so I'm going to remove some of it. It's a little bit too thick. Smooth him up. Just like so. That looks pretty good. Then we're going to go ahead and get this right on top of that chartreuse. And add a couple of wraps to him. Okay, that looks pretty good right there. Now we're going to go ahead. I like flipping my jig back over. And then this is going to be a pretty good size collar on him. And we're going to go ahead and build this collar now. Everything looks good. There we go. Because this is going to be a bass slash striper type jig. And you want a nice thick collar on this bad boy when you're tying especially big jigs such as this. 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce jigs. There we go. That looks pretty good. Now it's time to whip finish. So when I whip finish one of these up right here, I do 5 plus 5 on them. So I'll go 1, 5. I'll seat him down. Need to pull my thread up some here. And then we will do 5 more. I think it was 5. I might have lost count there. Then I grab my thread. I seat it down pretty tight. Don't break it. Just make sure you seat it in there good. A nice close cut. And then at this point, I like using my super glue. Loctite super glue. That's what I do my collars with. I will go ahead and I'll add a couple of nice thick drops on it. I got an old spent piece of paintbrush, and I will just work that in. And I will go all the way around adding my super glue, like a drop on each side, because I want this to hold good. Then we'll just come right over to this side right here. Add a little bit. I gave that collar time to dry up right there, and the seasoning there, that ain't going to be going anywhere, and this is going to look absolutely amazing in the water. Absolutely love the sexy shad pattern, and in a hair tie like this, it is awesome. Whether you're big bass fishing, striper fishing, this is an awesome color to throw out there. And don't forget to go down and check the video out right here on our gizzard shad tie that we done. Another 1/2 ounce jig head right here. Links down in the description for that and a playlist on our other jigs. So guys, if you're new to the channel checking us out, I hope you subscribe, hit that notification bell as we say always, and to give us a thumbs up if you all like the video. That helps our little channel out. And we're going to have a whole lot more jig ties coming down the road, some of our favorite colors that we throw ourselves. And I hope you stay tuned for that. And follow us over on Facebook, Instagram. And as always, stay safe out there in the woods or on the water. And we'll see you right here in the next in that Hills and Gills. Everybody, have a great day.